Fast forward, ini como our channel so AG Politics Avenue. Kuni podcast or film which make headlines. Ena jam dari na idibi aksomo our haksi. Ini di punya hubrak siapa. Se enek AD di kanya. Mesti aksomo subscribe to the channel. Notification bell so share na Akuffo so answer into NKB. Ini di mana yang ko political highways ni na ejadem enya asal ko Accra. Now after detention of lawyer Martin Kpebu, so many lawyers bebree and about thing a demanded for its immediate releasement this very night. Say OSP is ejapin onre na onjai papano na onkoda ni fee. Na Law.Thaddeus Sory it me extending warning edi Akroma mark OSP kisi ejapin say on penny is on penny no one. Unyapa Awunya Yumburan Simi, not in Renny Airport any day. Shanaswam say I have seen AGH Politics Avenue. Young Punsim Abra lawyers Akodo Echo Abin Ewo Martin Kpebu detention. That's why young Prince.
Jabin and the OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, is currently treating him. Most Ghanaians are fuming as I speak with you. It is beginning to sound as though we've handed a certain power, even beyond the powers of the president, to a certain office that has now taken upon itself the powers higher than the High Court. They can actually invite you and then decide to detain you anyhow at will. And I don't think that this is what the framers of the 1992 Constitution envisaged, that we will create institutions, and these institutions would then even become way powerful than the Constitution, which gives us our rights and freedoms. If you ask a lawyer to report over an allegation that he had put out to say that, of course, somebody is corrupt, you are just asking him to give you some evidence of whatever he has. If I were Martin, I would have declined that invitation, and I'm sure the OSP would have had nothing to do than to proceed to court. But being, a respecter of our laws, he thought that he should, honor that invitation, only for us to get to this high-handed approach that we are currently being told of. If lawyer Kisi Ejabeng and the Office of Special Prosecutor do not want to detain all of us by tomorrow morning, I think that they should do the right thing. Martin Kpebu has not held any office, has not siphoned public funds. People who have done so are still living with us, are still doing, their day-to-day bits, are still going about life normally. If you go for a social advocate, the status of Martin Kpebu, and apply this level of intimidation, you are simply telling all of us to keep quiet and allow you exercise powers that the 1992 Constitution does not give the Office of the Special Prosecutor. I think that, they should listen. Ghanaians are really fuming. You jump on social media. I do not think that lawyer Kisi Ejabeng will want to dare all of us.
Right.
At the end of the day, this has been some of the things that people who go to that office come back to complain for. And
okay,
one would have said that they will be getting sober. Martin, unfortunately, it's getting worse. And I think that we cannot continue on this tangent at all.
And in advancing the conversation, if you look critically at what the lawyer told us, and for those of you who probably missed what Martin Kpebu's lawyer told us, we'll bring that to you in a moment. But he, amongst other things, said that Martin Kpebu was, doing an interview or granting an interview within the premises, and an officer, a police officer, told him to stop. So there was that conversation between Martin Kpebu and the police officer, and it was on the back of that that the officer said he had arrested Martin Kpebu. So is it that we are extending it to the special prosecutor, or because it is within his jurisdiction, the final call should lie with the special prosecutor, and this time not the police officer who has now become a part of the story.
Martin, whatever the rank of this police officer, Martin Kpebu, honored an invitation extended him by the office of the special prosecutor. And so at each point in time that he remains in that premise, whatever interaction, whatever outcomes, the OSP would have to answer to that. I do not think that the police officer, so moto on its own accord, would be able to go to the premises and say, Martin is talking to the media. This is one of the things that, mind you, has caught the attention of the nation, is this particular development. And so while the media are able to find themselves within the premises, and the OSP laws did not forbade the media presence, I do not think that you should be this high-handed in insisting that, oh, you shouldn't talk to the media. The media are already there. They are a part of our democracy. We cannot run away from the media. There are things that happen in people's bedrooms, the media will still discuss it. And so if now we are trying, as it were, to insist that even speaking to the media now is also a crime for which people have to be detained, then I'm afraid they would have to detain all of us. Because at the end of the day, even the president of the republic, there have been instances where people speak against the president. They go as far as even to do demonstrations in front of the Jubilee House. I don't think the OSP's office is more of a security space than where the president of the republic, operates from. Yet, we are allowing these things. We are making excuses. Today is Martin. Tomorrow, he invites anybody and does anything they want to do with all of us. I do not think that the OSP should be allowed to arrogate such, overbearing powers that even the president of the republic is not arrogating to himself. I don't think that he's being fair to Martin Kpebu. You invited him, he honored an invitation. Whatever happens within your premises as the OSP would be your responsibility. And anything that happens to Martin, wherever they have taken him, they would answer to all of us very shortly.
Right, and maybe finally, before you take leave of us, Mr. Moag, fortunately, you also were the heart of a lawyer. How best can Martin Kpebu and his lawyers approach this? First of all, they are unable to tell where he is, but they know that he honored an invitation by the OSP, and it was from that point that they are unable to tell where he's disappeared to. What would the options be for the lawyers now?
Definitely, we would have to just get to court tomorrow to compel them to produce Martin. But at the end of the day, it is bizarre that an invitation is extended to a law-abiding citizen who honors an invitation, and then we pick this person, and in some kangaroo military fashion, we are saying we do not even know where he is. We are asking the OSP Kisia Jabeng and his team to produce Martin just this night. If they infringe on any of his rights, they would have to infringe on all of us our rights, because clearly, if you had not invited him, he wouldn't be in the office of the OSP. You invited him to produce whatever evidence, whatever that he can also provide. Then you use some kangaroo tactics to do what you have done. I think that we should all join in condemning what has happened this night. If we don't, we are simply handing a gun over some way, somehow, to kids or toddlers who do not know what to do with it. It's power in the hands of people who think they should show power. We have not voted for an OSP. We voted for a president. Even the president himself does not arrogate such powers to himself. Look at the humility with which he governs. Only for an officer of a law institution or organization to behave this way as though we are living under some military dictatorship. Detention? For what? Martin, I think that we should join in calling out lawyer Kisia Jabeng and the OSP office to produce Martin immediately without fail. Anything other than this, they would have to detain all of us by tomorrow morning.
Right. Counsel, thank you so much for your time this evening. Duncan Amoah is the Executive Director of COPEC and has also been sharing a thought on news that we have this evening, which has to do with the fact that Martin Kpebu, who honored an invitation by the special prosecutor, has been whisked away to an unknown location That's what his lawyers are telling us. So for those who must have missed the interview we had on News 360 a few minutes ago with one of the lawyers that went to the OSP's office with Martin Kpebu, this is exactly what he shared with us.
This afternoon at about 2 o'clock, we attended to the invitation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor to assist them in investigations. So while we were at the premises, Martin granted an interview outside the premises of the Office of the Special Prosecutor and returned. So it appears that one of the officers, that is a police officer on at the gate, was not too happy with Martin granting an interview outside the premises of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Martin actually challenged him that no, there was nothing wrong with him granting an interview and subsequently attending to the inquiry. And so there was some amount of altercation between, verbal exchange between him and then the officer. Thereafter, Martin proceeded to attend to the inquiry committee. So while we were having discussions with the inquiry committee, in the course of that, they told Martin that he had actually obstructed an officer of the Special Prosecutor, and for that matter, he was going to be charged. Meanwhile, let me be quick to add that when the altercation took place, Martin was first to even request to make a complaint against the third officer. But we were told that the complaint center was not available to take our response, our complaint. So Martin proceeded to the inquiry board or committee and presented a complaint before them. He also insisted that that matter should be dealt with even before we could attend to the substantive matter. So we were quite surprised that in the course of the proceedings, the officers went down, up and down, came back and told us that Martin was under arrest because they had gone to investigate the matter. It appears that Martin was rather the one at fault. And for that matter, they were charging him with the offense of obstructing an officer of the Special Prosecutor.
Right.
That's the charge. Yes.
Okay.
So eventually they said he was going to be admitted to bail in the tune of a landed property in his personal name. So imagine, obstruction an officer is attracting a bail condition of landed property in the person's own name. In addition to that, he was to present one surety. So I quickly ride back to the office, which is just about 10 minutes drive, to pick a landed property, the documents to his landed property, return with one surety, only to be told that Martin has been whisked away to an unspecified location. All attempts to know where Martin is as of now is not being fruitful.
Right, so that's the lawyer who was with the Martin Kpebu at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, updating us, or at least that was when he confirmed to us that yes, they honored the invitation. Yes, Martin Kpebu was there and was actually done and was out conducting an interview, and that is where the whole story took a different turn. Joining us now on the line is Christian Mamhesi, also a private legal practitioner. Mr. Mamhesi, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Good evening and thanks for having me, sir.
I'm sure this news has also come to your attention. I would be happy to know what your initial thoughts are, that a citizen honors an invitation and we are told that now his whereabouts is unknown.
I mean, it's quite disturbing. I mean, Martin is, even though he's a citizen, aside that he's a lawyer of high reputation, and he's also a very good friend of mine. I mean, aside the affinity of friendship and all of that, I mean, an ordinary citizen of a land, definitely the police, and then by extension, the OSP, where he suspects that that particular citizen has committed an offense or about committing an offense, can always invite that person. And definitely in law, an invitation is tantamount to an arrest. So in the situation, for whatever the OSP is investigating him about, that
that procedure kicks in. But if it is only based on the premise that he, just after he came out, he granted interview, and for that reason, he was whisked away to an unknown place, and his lawyers are unable to find him or to get any kind of communication as to assess their client, then this is a breach of his human rights, and it cannot be happening in this modern time.
Right.
It cannot be happening in this modern time.
And
it would be an indictment on the office of the OSP.
Right. And what would your expectation of the OSP be as of now, especially now that it has gone viral? Almost everybody is talking about it, that someone came to your office and has gone missing. Should it be that by now the office should have released a statement, or at least come out to let us know that they are just going through normal procedure and that nothing untoward is happening?
Yes, I mean, ordinarily, I expect that should happen, because the OSP has a strategic public relations officer, I guess, who is also a lawyer in the name of Mr. Pǎnǐc. So, I mean, for all of this having gone viral, I expect that you come out to speak, because the OSP being a lawyer, the public relations officer also being a lawyer, there should be a form of communication. But like I said, if indeed it has to do with Mr. Kpebu granting an interview after this particular arrest, which one would say an invitation, it's a very serious indictment on the office of the OSP. It cannot be happening in present-day Ghana.
Right.
We've compassed this situation where it can be deemed as though an office is wielding its coercive powers to shut a man down. We all know from in recent times that Mr. Kpebu has been very, very vocal concerning the operations of the OSP, and he has also made it very publicly known that he's putting together a petition to take him out for what he deemed as his lack of competence for the position, amidst other things. So his position on the OSP is not known. So if there's no legal justification for this, then it would mean that it is an abuse of office. And I would shudder slowly to come to that conclusion. But if indeed that is the situation, then it would be a very big indictment on the OSP. I mean, he can have him for this night, but definitely the lawyers would be up and doing, God willing, tomorrow, filing in papers and see what the court could do about it, or even going to the OSP. If he fails to yield, then they'll be exploiting other options to get Mr. Kpebu out.
Right. Thank you very much for your time, Christian Mamhersi. And it's very more concerning when it was Martin Kpebu who actually honored the invitation, which has led to his eventual arrest following whatever developments that must have happened in the office. So it's still a fluid situation. We are keeping very close tabs on it. And as we speak, we are having a number of lawyers join the conversation. Abraham Amalba has also joined us. He's the CEO of the Ghana Road Safety Authority. Mr. Amalba, good evening and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
What would your initial submission be? Clearly, we are all told to be law-abiding citizens. It becomes quite concerning when one abides by this constitution or the law and then finds themselves, arrested. What do you say to what has happened so far?
This is clearly an irrational act on the part of the special prosecutor. Irrational in the sense that, like you rightly indicated, the man walks in there, upon your invitation, he says, I won't speak unless I meet the board of the special prosecutor. Now, a suspect or an accused person is not bound to talk when you are asking him questions. So it was wrong for them to then indicate that amounts to obstruction of the work of the special prosecutor. And that's why I'm saying that act by the special prosecutor to arrest Martin Kpebu is an irrational act and must be condemned. I think that clearly the Attorney General should step into this matter and order for his release.
Right. And then, I mean, you have represented a number of people who have, in time past faced similar or something along the lines of, having been invited and detained. What would your initial reaction be, or what would you expect the lawyers of Martin Kpebu to be doing now? And while answering that, would also want you to know that what would you advise the OSP to be doing now that almost everybody is talking about this unfortunate detention, as you've described it?
Well, I think that this evening they should be preparing that they will go to court tomorrow, file their processes, and have him released by the court. I think that apart from that, Ghanaians should also put pressure on the special prosecutor to quit the irrational act. It doesn't make sense. It's irrational. It doesn't make sense at all. The conduct by arresting Martin Kpebu for refusing to talk or demanding to talk to the board of the special prosecutor does not call for his arrest. And I think that Ghanaians should march out. There must be a demonstration by his law.
We ain't some who wrote Timothy Watchana so. Mamma so Jim or had a senator Badian, Edia Dumbi Edumian, in some room, Diane Sumo Council.